It's Wednesday, May 24th, and this is now on HNN.
She put her phone number in my phone.
The man accused of a brutal sex assault at a Honolulu condo takes the stand today in his own defense.
Give me the strength, baby girl. Help me get up. Help me get up today.
The town of Uvalde, Texas is still trying to heal 1 year after a deadly school shooting claimed the lives of 19 students and 2 teachers.
A super typhoon lashes Guam as a Category 4 storm, the latest on the impacts to the island.
Time is running out to reach a deal on the debt ceiling. I'm Natalie Brand on Capitol Hill. What negotiators are saying about the latest talks.
These stories, plus music icon Tina Turner dies at the age of 83. Details coming up on This Is Now.
Aloha and happy Wednesday to you. Thank you for joining us for This Is Now. Some new at noon news to get to. The trial of Michael Hirokawa, the man accused of a brutal sex assault in a Honolulu condo, continued today. That happened back in 2020. He took the stand today.
That's right. The 34-year-old is on trial for attempted murder, sex assault, and kidnapping. Today he was asked about what he remembers the night of the alleged attack.
So as soon as you drank the wine, you're saying immediately you remember nothing.
After the wine, I don't remember.
Hirokawa's attorney has argued that the victim drugged Hirokawa by lacing his wine glass with LSD and Ambien. The woman has denied that allegation. Prosecutors say after a night of drinking, Hirokawa and the victim went to the condo where he allegedly forced her into the bedroom and attacked her. Hirokawa says he does remember feeling trapped.
No, I was just describing the feeling I had of being scared, trapped. I don't know if I was fighting for my life because someone's trying to kill me, or if I'm fighting for my life because I need to escape, or just, that's the best way I could explain that feeling. That I don't know how to explain it better. It's like trapped, feeling.
If convicted, Hirokawa could face life in prison. We'll have much more from the trial today online and in later editions of Hawaii News Now. Honolulu police are looking for a robbery suspect who attacked a man in an elevator at the Aston at the Waikiki Banyan. It happened on May 6th, just after 2:45 in the morning. HPD says the attacker knocked him unconscious before taking his wallet. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers at 955-8300.
Prosecutors have charged a 16-year-old boy with second-degree murder for that Sunday shooting in Leeward, Oahu. Police believe he killed 17-year-old Miguel Ago Jr. after an argument at a Makaha beach park and then took off. The suspect's name has not been released because he is a juvenile. Police also arrested a 16-year-old girl who allegedly drove the suspect to and from that scene, and an 18-year-old woman who was also inside the car. Both were booked for hindering prosecution.
A Kauai family who lost 2 loved ones in a Christmas Eve crash back in 2020 say the driver should have gotten a tougher sentence. Preschool teacher Eugenia Villanueva and her father, 71-year-old Delphin Geronimo, died following the wreck on Kamuali'i Highway. The man who crashed into them, 33-year-old Sandin Igne, took a plea deal that resulted in a 10-year prison sentence. The family says they don't think it's enough, but they accepted the deal because it was their best option legally.
The eye of Typhoon Noir has passed just north of Guam, but the eye wall, the strongest part of the storm, is bringing heavy winds and rain. The typhoon, the strongest to hit the country of roughly 150,000 people since 2002, briefly made landfall Wednesday night as a Category 4 storm at Andersen Air Force Base on the northern tip of the island. According to the National Weather Service meteorologist Patrick Dole, the slow-moving storm was battering the island with maximum sustained winds of 140 miles per hour, and it was expected to intensify through Friday, the Weather Service said. Videos posted to social media show fallen trees, a flipped truck, solar panels, panels flying through the air and parts of a wall of a multi-story hotel crumbling to the ground and exposing rebar, and storm surge waves crashing through coastal reefs.
Today marks 1 year since the Uvalde school shooting, where a gunman killed 19 students and 2 teachers at Robb Elementary School. It's considered one of the deadliest shootings in Texas history. Lilia Luciano takes us there.
For Andrea Herrera, surviving the mass shooting in Uvalde is still a daily recurrence.
It just goes in my mind, just like in loops.
She was not only at Robb Elementary that day, but her stepbrother, 10-year-old Jose Flores, was killed in the classroom next door. Andrea is still haunted by the thought of Jose's whereabouts during the shooting.
I always imagine him like how his face is, and he's scared.
Andrea's mother, Cynthia, says her kid's mental health and school performance keeps declining, and the tension in town increasing.
Does it ever make you want to leave?
Yes, for sure.
Why are you still here?
Well, because he's here.
Jose.
Yeah. And it's harder just to pick up and leave.
Brett Cross, too, is tethered to Uvalde after burying his 10-year-old Uzziah Garcia.
If I stop, I'm useless.
For Cross, leaving Uvalde would also mean giving up on a year-long fight for answers and change.
To do what is right. You want me to stop? I've lost a kid. I ain't got anything else to lose.
Perhaps the most pressing failure, 376 law enforcement officers from more than 20 agencies waiting for 77 minutes before breaching through a classroom door.
There were officers in there that could have ended it, but were told to stand down, and they listened.
To mend the broken trust, the mayor of Uvalde, Don McLaughlin, recently hired an assistant police chief from outside the town. But like the families of the victims, McLaughlin is still waiting for results from the local district attorney's criminal investigation.
In 1 year's time, I've had not one briefing, not one.
Parents this week and last week have been visiting Robb Elementary for the first time since their children were killed in that classroom. It's something that some families asked for and that had been prevented because of the ongoing investigation. Robb Elementary will be demolished at some point, pending a court order. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, Uvalde, Texas.
The June 1st deadline to raise the nation's debt ceiling is fast approaching, but the White House and House Republicans are nowhere near reaching a deal that would avoid the first default in our nation's history. Natalie Brand has more.
Negotiators met at the White House to try and reach a deal to raise the debt limit with time running out.
You can start counting the days, and I mean, there's no question that we're getting to crunch time.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says the two sides are still far apart, but adds he's hopeful.
I think we can make progress today. I'm hoping that we can make progress.
Progress will have to come quickly. To write a bill and pass it through both chambers by the Treasury Secretary's June 1st deadline.
The biggest sticking point remains spending, with Republicans demanding cuts and Democrats offering to cap it at current levels.
They put forward an extreme package of devastating cuts that would slash support for education, law enforcement, food assistance. The list goes on and on and on and on.
Progressive Democrats argue the president can sidestep Republicans to avoid default.
The president can take unilateral action to avoid default by acting according to the 14th Amendment and pay these bills.
Both President Biden and Speaker McCarthy acknowledge the need for bipartisan support to get a deal through Congress that will avoid the first ever default on America's debt. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced his candidacy for president today. Last night, his wife, Casey DeSantis, tweeted a teaser video hinting at the fact that her husband was jumping in the race.
Do I have the courage? Is it worth the sacrifice? America has been worth it every single time.
Governor DeSantis will likely be former President Donald Trump's biggest challenger for the GOP nomination. The 44-year-old Republican revealed his decision in a Federal Election Commission filing before an online conversation with Twitter CEO Elon Musk. Military officials are opening up Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam for an open house event this weekend. We had Captain Mark Zohaney on Sunrise. He's the base commander. We asked him about the event, but also wanted to know the latest on the Red Hill defueling process.
We wanted to ask you just exactly what you're doing to make sure the water quality is still up to standards after the Red Hill crisis, because we know so many families still concerned about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have no concerns about the quality of water. Just so viewers understand, we are taking water 6 miles from Red Hill, so it's a completely different shaft, and that's the Waiava shaft, and that water is what we're using to supply our 93,000 users. In addition to that, with collaboration with the Department of Health and EPA, we are testing and sampling that water, all our neighborhoods, our schools, and medical facilities, and we have a whole long-term monitoring process in place. And that'll go on for another couple of years, and so far we have 0 detections of any unsafe chemicals in our water supply.
Okay. Because there had been a lot of concerns, and I know people are going to hear this, but at the same time, there's going to be something in the back of their head. Like, how is that possible that it hasn't leaked a little bit further down? So there's absolutely no concern about the safety of this water, and they should go on feeling safe about drinking and bathing and cooking with it.
Absolutely. And we do have that long-term monitoring process in place. You can go on our website and find out exactly where we sample, what the results are. And if you're a user of our water, you can call in. There's a number listed there, and you could get your water tested if you want to.
So my understanding of what you're saying is you're getting your water 6 miles away, but for the water that was contaminated, are you still testing that as well, and what are you finding?
Yes. So at Red Hill, we have got groundwater monitoring wells in place, and we're working in cooperation with the Department of Health and the EPA, and we are under we're basically flushing that water out, and after a certain period of time, when the Department of Health deems that to be satisfactory and the water quality is good, then at some point in time we may make a decision to use that water. But as of right now, there's no intent to use the water from Red Hill.
When you say you flush it out, where does it go?
So what we do is we process that water, about 5 million gallons a day, through a carbon filter system, much like your coffee filter, and that goes into and we're testing that, and that water is clean and safe, but that water goes in the Halava stream and out to Pearl Harbor.
We're speaking to Captain Mark Zohaney. One of the things that you've been doing is answering questions, and you've taken that upon yourself to make sure that the public is educated and knows what's going on. You've done that on Facebook and on other social media platforms. Why is that important? What kind of information are you putting out there to I guess, relieve the public or let them know that, put them at ease?
Absolutely. So transparency is my goal. I've been here for about a year. This is my 5th tour in Hawaii. I commanded a different base in Naval Air Station Key West, and I've learned it's very important to let folks know exactly what I know. So that's kind of been my goal, is to get information out, not only social media. Of course, I'm in contact with all the residents that live on base. I'll send out letters just to make sure that they understand what we're doing and why we're doing it and where they can get the information if they desire. So that's just my goal, is to push everything out that I know.
Does that include families who were affected but then maybe moved away or were reassigned?
Yes, so 2 things there. We, more importantly, families that are inbound, that's where I get most of the questions, right? Hey, we're coming to Hawaii, we heard about the water, what's going on? So of course we are in contact with those folks, and we have information that is in their lease agreement, if you will, when they come onto the base and sign, that explains everything I just said, and then I provide them a letter signed by me as well, with a point of contact to my emergency operations center, just to make sure that they understand what the current state of play is. And a lot of times they'll ask to have their water tested, and we'll go out there and test their water within 24 hours typically.
Hawaii's chief economist says the pandemic forced so many families to leave Hawaii that it's still tough for businesses to find enough workers. Chelsea Davis has more.
Signs like this are now common around Maui, saying we're hiring and offering signing bonuses. Jan Martin has worked at Island Grocery Depot for 13 years now. Her boss says it's become harder to find loyal, hardworking employees like her nowadays.
This is the worst we've seen it as far as, the worker shortage.
Valley Isle Produce, or VIP, has been around for 72 years. The company's president says he's currently down 30 employees. He's not alone.
We do hear businesses
they complain, they have a hard time looking for people.
Hawaii's chief economist says the worker shortage in our state is getting better, but it's not back to pre-pandemic levels. Dr. Tian says on average in 2019, before the pandemic, there were a total of about 7,500 job openings in Hawaii. That number skyrocketed to 35,000 in December of 2021. The latest data from February of this year shows 14,000 vacant positions.
We are still recovering. That's the key.
Dr. Tian and experts estimate a full recovery won't happen until 2025. He says Hawaii's population is also dwindling.
There are people moving out of state. We lost the population in the last few years. And this is especially true for Honolulu and Maui.
And lastly, he says there's a mismatch. Job seekers are out there. Their priorities have changed.
Going through the pandemic, people's habit or maybe their demand is different because they will care more about health, about transportation, and family values.
It's forced many employers like Nelson Okumura to get creative. He's now attending job fairs and he's even offering a signing bonus. He hopes it's enough to entice all the right employees. Reporting in Kahului, Chelsea Davis, Hawaii News Now.
Today, East Maui residents are feeling the effects of an emergency road closure near Kipahulu. In fact, officials are asking them to report the issues and what they need in terms of assistance. We have a link to do that at hawaiinewsnow.com. We're told community meetings are being planned and will be announced soon. The road has been closed since May 10th due to rockfalls. Slope stabilization work is scheduled to start in June and could be completed by the end of the month. Meanwhile, visitors are being asked to go with tour groups instead of driving out to Hana on their own.
The $27 million contract awarded to manage tourism in Hawaii may include a phone app to track the location of tourists. The Hawaii Visitor app would give visitors useful information, alerts, and a place to make reservations and pay fees. The government would have the power to watch where they go.
To track where all of our visitors are and then perhaps suggestively redirecting them to less occupied spaces, to excursions and activities that aren't currently being overloaded.
And if you don't want to sit in traffic for 2 hours today, here are 3 or 4 alternative sites that you can take your family to visit. Because right now, the residents are having a terrible time and the visitors are having a bad time too.
The Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement hopes the platform would help local residents and Made in Hawaii businesses benefit from the visitor industry.
Backlash against Target today. The retailer announced it's removing certain items that it had stocked for Pride Month in June. Some of their customer confrontations with workers turned violent, and Target says it's pulling the products for employee safety reasons. It didn't specify which items would be removed, but it has offered 2,000 items in the Pride collection, including gender-fluid mugs and books for young children titled Bye Bye Binary.
Breaking news, iconic singer Tina Turner has died. The Associated Press described her as an unstoppable musical force. She sang the unforgettable songs, What's Love Got to Do With It, and The Best. Turner had been battling a long illness. She was 83 years old.
Lost a good one there, man.
Yeah.
Ash, I was sad to hear that.
I know, we've been singing her songs all morning.
Beautiful day, and we're taking a look at one of my favorite places in the state, Hilo Bay there, gorgeous on the Big Island. Let's see what the week has in store for us. Let's check in with Guy Hoggy. He's got your forecast.
Now, take a look at this model of rain and wind over the next several days, and things aren't going to change very much. There will be some passing showers. With those breezy winds, rainfall totals will be limited, right? Because whatever rain comes in will be moving out quickly. And then on Saturday, there's a disturbance up to the north. That's going to really lighten up the winds and also going to maybe bring in a few more spots of moisture, maybe a couple of heavy downpours as well, Saturday and Sunday. But we're not expecting a widespread widespread washout anytime soon. So overall, things are looking pretty good. But again, there is a chance with the lighter wind Saturday and Sunday and that passing disturbance, we could see a few more showers. However, leeward sides could still be fairly dry. And if you're making plans for Memorial Day, plan on some pretty nice weather, although some of that lingering moisture might hang around those Wynwood and Mauka areas in the morning hours. Afternoon sunshine, probably a high assurance of that happening. So we're going to see really beautiful weather for the next several days, and those breezy winds will make things comfortable today and tomorrow.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Guy. Let's take a look at what the internet is talking about, and we'll play that animation again because I like it so much. Okay, get this. Netflix is going to begin cracking down on password sharing. Finally, it is coming to the U.S. That time is up. Netflix sent those customers a note yesterday saying each password is meant only for members of that household, or you can add others for $8 a month per person. Netflix started its crackdown over the winter in Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, and Spain. Folks up in Canada saying, sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know. That was bad. Don't you wish Dylan was back? I think I use your HBO password, don't I? Should I not say that on? Should I not say that on the air?
We share a couple of accounts.
We do.
Not Netflix, so we're good.
We should.
Okay, so let's watch this. This happened at a Yankees baseball game, and it's pretty great. Check it out.
Loose. Look at the faces on the fans.
In slow motion. Don't pick up your phones. You're scared of a squirrel. And that's
so much to take in here. Now look at the guy fall in slow motion. Oh, and fans' faces, they're just spectacular. By the way, it's a pretty far drop for that squirrel. The outfield wall is 8 feet 5 inches tall, and that little dude handled it like a champ.
Oh, that's awesome. I love when like the baseball game is so boring you pay attention to the squirrels or anything else you can. That's oh man, look at him go. Oh. All right, well, you know, a lot of artists have been making a big name for themselves locally from Hawaii. Billy V has some good news now. One of them recognized by an elected official.
Iam Tongi gets a congressional shout-out from the congresswoman from the 50th state, Joe Tokuda.
Throughout his American Idol journey, Iam captured the hearts of viewers across the country with his incredible voice and soulful tributes to his late father, Rodney. Iam, your music, your story, and your spirit have inspired millions of Americans across this country. Hawaii is so proud of you.
Tokuda says Tongi's story is being priced out of paradise should be a wake-up call to pass laws to bring down Hawaii's high cost of living. The Voice said hello to its newest winner and goodbye to its most winningest coach, but the script didn't go the way everyone thought it would go.
The winner of season 23 of The Voice is... Gina Miles! Team Nile!
Look at that. Gina Miles from Paxton, Illinois won the contest in what the show calls its closest margin ever. Now, she was on Team Niall and rookie coach. Many thought Blake Shelton's singer Grace West was going to win. It would have been a fitting end as Blake rides off into the sunset from the coach's chair. The coaches coming up in the fall, Niall Horan will be returning. John Legend, Gwen Stefani, and country superstar Reba McEntire will be there.
One more story before we go, Ash.
Before we go, check it out. So this happens to us sometimes in the field, right, Case?
Yeah.
Go for it. Play it.
Sun and fair weather clouds. Whoa! Oh my gosh, the bird startled me.
Oh, I thought it was a real bird. Just kidding. So she was standing in front of a green screen, and there was a bird in the live cam.
That'll happen.
Oh, that's terrifying. Oh.
When it's that big
but
on the big screen.
You've been attacked by pigeons out in the field.
I have.
Know.
I'll have to get that clip and put it on social media. Thanks so much for being with us today for This Is Now. I'll be back for the next couple of days hanging out with you, Ash.
Excited about it.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah, I am.
We'll see you later.
See ya.